Hey everybody, welcome to the Slick Tree Podcast. I'm your host, Kolby Morehead. The point of this show is to help improve ourselves as dogmen and to raise the quality of the dogs on the end of our lead. So let's settle in, turn the volume up, and let's see if we can't learn a trick or two together from our guests.
Turtle.
Whitey grit. Alright.
Well, how you want to start it?
Well, I guess we're here today. We're out here on the river, actually. I'm here with my friend, Kolby Morehead. Just to give Kolby a little bit of background, if you don't know who he is already, he is the owner of the Bear Hunting Magazine.
Facts.
It's a pretty sweet magazine. If you guys aren't getting it, you probably ought to think about it. This is mostly a dog-related podcast. But one thing about that magazine that doesn't really tell you by the name is they've got an absolute ton of dog hunting stuff.
Double facts.
It's a quality magazine for sure. It's full color. I've got a little boy that's 5, and he just absolutely loves flipping through there and looking at the pictures if nothing else. And I'd try to read him some stories out of it. But they've got all kinds of recipes. Last month's issue had a recipe for black bear peppercorn tenderloins with egg noodles, zucchini, peppers, and rice. And I haven't made it yet, but man, it looks amazing.
Yeah, we haven't tried it yet either. It looks really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the picture alone made me go, oh, I got a fish on. That or I'm hung.
I think you might be hung.
Yep, I'm hung. Test the line, sacrifice the lure. That other rod jumped. Hopefully,
We like to multitask.
yeah, we're out here trolling, trying to catch white bass today. I didn't get a chance to pre-fish, so we might not do very good at all. Got that rod in. All right, but they got all kinds of course, of stuff on bears. Everything from beginner stuff to help getting going. I personally am still a member of the Less Than One Bear Club.
Yeah.
I've been working on that. This will be my 3rd year trying.
Mm-hmm.
But they've got everything from beginner to experienced articles. They've got a series called Becoming a Bear Hunter that I know I've benefited from quite a bit.
Yeah, that has concluded.
I think that last issue had the last article.
Yeah, they'll be on the website.
But the last issue, talking about dog stuff, they had an article on hound first aid. They had another one on 10 guidelines for picking a puppy. They had another bear hunting article that ended with a hunt in taking a bear named Houdini over hounds, which was a pretty exciting article.
I'm going to hunt with him here in September, that outfitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have a recurring article that's named Legendary Bear Hounds, where I believe every issue they pick either a hound.
Yeah, it's usually it's a hound. That column's written by Steve Fielder. He's been on a couple different podcasts. Right now he does the Gone to the Dogs podcast, but his dogs have been his world. And so he's been part of a lot of the different kennel clubs and stuff like that. So he's really tied in and deep in it. Those are some complicated stories to write because you really need somebody to write them that knows that can track lines and has an awareness of the different lines and breeds, and he does a great job. They can get a little technical sometimes just because of all the pedigrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another big thing that I love about the magazine is how you guys are on the guard the gate principle.
Yeah.
And really truly the pioneers of the guard the gate principle. You want to talk on that a little bit?
Yeah, that came out of a podcast we did. I think we did it with James Brandenburg from the Arkansas BHA, and it was kind of one of those things where I think at that point he had never bear hunted or killed a bear, and he was just curious, and so we had him on the podcast and he asked questions and everything, and that just came out of it. We started talking about how bears are the entryway that anti-hunting groups attack hunting, and that it's the thing in their crosshairs right now. And I mean, if you watch the news and litigation and what's going on in different politics in different states, especially states like Washington right now, Vermont deals with a lot of stuff too, and Oregon some. You'll see that there really is an attack on bears, and what they're doing is they're going in and trying to take out bear hunting and our rights to hunt with different methods, just to hunt in general. They got rid of the spring season in Washington last year, I think it was. So I mean, that's the thing that they're chipping away at. They're really coming at hunting with it's a death by 1,000 cuts, and so they're trying to make it so at first they're coming after predator hunting. I mean, in the long run, if you get rid of predator hunting, you come to a point to where you don't really have a high population of ungulates either, because they're so hard on, like, calving, fawns, and all of that. And so it's one of those things, like, you really have to guard the predator hunting, specifically the bear hunting, so that you don't, I mean, just to protect everything. I mean, and once they chip away at bear hunting, like, if they're successful in that, then who knows what they'll go for next. It's like, well, why do you need to kill an elk? Or why do you need to kill a mule deer? And eventually they'll get down, well, why do you need to kill a whitetail?
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. It seems like they definitely go after hounds, trapping, and the predator hunting, like you said.
Yeah, hounds are a part of it, and a lot of it is just not understanding. And most people are not anti-hunter. Most people are in the middle and don't have anything that they identify with regarding hunting. And so we're not really out there trying to convince anti-hunters, people that are strongly against it, to, come in and support it. Or it's like you're really trying to make sure that the people in the middle ground are okay with us having the right to hunt and not go over to being against us. With guarding the gate, a lot of it is just like treating people the way that you want to be treated and just being kind, and some of it is optics, like what you post, how you post it, how you portray things. Everybody, we always want to do a grip and grin, but there's tactful ways to do it, and there's ways that seem disrespectful to the animal. So we just got to protect those things.
Absolutely. I feel like ignorance is because like you were saying about, we're not out to change the minds of anti-hunters, because that mindset's kind of like saying that the anti-hunter, if their goal, if they talk to us, is there's nothing that's going to come out of their mouth that's going to convince us that to not be hunters anymore.
Yeah.
You're not going to change the anti-hunter's mind, more than likely.
Yeah. And some of them are just, they had one bad experience with the hunter and they assigned it as a stereotype for all of them.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that I would call it ignorance, not in the degrading means of the terms, but the more the true definition of the term, just a lack of knowledge.
Yeah, unawareness.
A lot of people's first idea, especially like when it comes to trapping, most people haven't been around it.
Yeah.
They've never interacted with it. It's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
To go out and trap a coyote.
I'm gonna get that critter to step on this exact spot the way that I want them to.
Right. And most people's closest experience they've had to trapping is watching Fox and the Hound, and the fox runs through the little draw and 27 traps snap off, and that's their experience with trapping, unfortunately.
Yeah, you got to be careful taking your cues from talking critters.
Yeah. Anthropomorphized critters might not be the best place to get your information.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things where you just have to be aware of context. One thing I realized is I wasn't raised telling stories or giving people a lot of full context whenever I would tell things, and so or tell a story. And that's one thing that I'm having to work on. I think we all have to work on just being able to make sure that we think about context, because there's a lot of things that we take for granted just growing up inside of the life that we did. I mean, growing up, we ran hounds all the time. Like, we ran coons, we ran hogs, and so I have an understanding of that thing. So bear hunting with hounds, I'm like, yeah, whenever I found out that was a thing, or running lines with hounds, that sounded great to me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's because I had some sort of context for what value comes from hound hunting. And a lot of people, like, more often than not, don't have any connection to that. So whenever you portray things, you have to do it in a way almost like you're talking to a child, where you're like, well, this is why we do this is why we do that, and so you just can't put stuff out there that would just be cool to your buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing I think we really need to, houndsmen get a bad rap even inside the hunting world, because unfortunately, just like any other thing, there's people that drive around, poach deer out of windows with spotlights.
Mm-hmm.
There's bad apples in every group. It seems like a lot of people have been rubbed wrong by a houndsman at some point or another.
Well, and the thing is there's infighting between all the different hunters, especially, I mean, like, if you're a hardcore tree and walker guy, and then you come and there's a guy that's a hardcore plot guy, or somebody else likes blue dogs. There's a little bit of infighting and stuff even between like different hounds. There's people that, like, you see it on Facebook all the time, and a lot of times it sees older characters, but it's like they believe strongly that their way is the right way. And I think that that's something that we have to actively come against, because really, if you think about it, that's a sort of ignorance, because anytime that you think you've got something completely figured out and there's no other way, typically you're wrong. Oh, yeah, so we do it all sorts of ways. We hunt bears and, well, we hunt all critters, all different ways. But we posted a picture of like how to build a bait barrel, and there's 1,000 different ways that you can do it, and people have their preferred method, and obviously people thought we were wrong, and some people thought it was great, and I mean, there's always trolls and haters that are going to come out. That's the type of attitude that, if you're infighting and you're not for all different types of hunters and all methods, this thing could go away. And because we're divided, it's just so dangerous. I mean, if you like to hunt, you should support all legal methods of hunting.
Absolutely.
Like, regardless. We just can't afford to do it any other way.
Oh, I think that's what, about roughly 10% of the population actually hunts.
Yeah.
And so whenever you think about it on a ballot initiative, like we lose every time if it's just straight vote off. Only
Man.
hunters like hunting.
I tuned in to when Missouri was passing their bear season. So a few years back, Missouri decided to bring on a limited draw bear hunt inside the state for residents. There was a super small percentage, maybe like 2% of the calls, because they were saying we had this many calls, this many were against, this many were for, and the against was like 90-something percent against reinstating or bringing in a bear season. Luckily, that group in Missouri is more about the science than they are the public outcry or whatever. I don't know if outcry is the right word, but they were following sound science, and they know that emotions can't be a part of it, a part of the decision. And they went ahead and sent the legislation through. They were able to reinstate a bear season for Missouri, which was a huge win for us. But it doesn't really feel like we really showed up or did a lot for that. And inside of that scenario, like, you would have needed to be a Missouri resident and call in to the department, the DNR, or whatever the Missouri Wildlife Agency is calling. I mean, we're just not very vocal. And I think we take for granted that things are just going to be there, and the right decisions are going to be made, you know?
Yeah.
But really, I mean, something as simple as an email or a phone call goes a long way. And there's even like Howl for Wildlife. You can keep your eye on them and see what legislation's coming up. And, you know, you can send emails through them, and I think it randomizes the subject line and the things that are said inside of it. But something as simple as that is you making some sort of effort. You know.
Yeah, I think they actually talked about that Howl for Wildlife in that last episode, becoming a bear hunter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Doug Bose. Yeah, it's a good thing. There's also different bear groups, so for different states that you're in. There's different black bear groups, so like Wisconsin's the big one. The Wisconsin Bear Hunters Association. There's the Michigan Bear Hunters Association, West Virginia, North Carolina. I mean, those are the ones that we deal with, and I'm sure there's others as well. But those different hunting groups, there's something cool about a conservation group that's actually doing the work. If you ever need a model, that Wisconsin Bear Hunters Association has been very successful in getting their voices heard and standing against things that come against bear hunting and specifically hound hunting. That's the thing that a lot of these states are coming after. It happens in the polls too. You know, you gotta watch who you put into the seat. So the biggest problem in Washington is the governor, because the governor controls who he puts on that board that makes the decisions, and he's the one that controls the nominations and everything. That's one instance to where, yeah, we need to get the right guy or the right person, the high seat inside of different states. There's a lot going on in Arizona too. I mean, there's just attacks everywhere. You can't keep up with it. California, just pick some of these, and they're mainly like Democratic states, the blue states. There's a strong correlation.
Definitely.
I'm not saying you should go out and vote any particular way, other than just look who has policies that align with what your desire is, what you want to happen.
We were actually planning on doing this podcast last week.
Yeah.
And we had a little bit of a situation that arose while we were trying to get stuff ready to do it.
Yeah. I want to hear your perspective.
Well, I volunteered to go down and help. Oh, we got I'm not sure if that's a fish or if I'm hung. Yep, it's hung. A little bit difficult to keep us on track and do everything else. Can't really watch the graph and watch for brush piles. We're trolling over while we're talking, but that's all right. So I volunteered to come down and help you pack some bear bait in.
Yeah.
On your bear bait site.
Thank you.
And yeah, it was a workout for sure.
Yeah, you never know what kind of work goes into different types of hunting. Well, some guys, I mean, they do a lot of work to get the bait, and they have to go regularly. But some baits you can just pull the truck up to, and that is a luxury.
Well, I think a lot of people's first impression whenever they think about baiting bears, especially ignorance is bliss, and that maybe that's unfair. I'm telling you right now, it is a workout. I do not envy you for going and doing that twice, sometimes 3 times a week.
Once I recover, I'll be stout though.
Right, better than any gym membership.
Yeah, I keep meaning to go cancel that.
But I hadn't seen a bear in the woods before, and I'd let you know that whenever we were driving down and on the way. And so you formulated a plan that whenever we got there, we'd just kind of be quiet, slip down there and see if we couldn't get me to spot it.
That's a fish.
That's a fish right there. See if we couldn't get me to see a bear. Well, we got about halfway down there. Oh, did he come off? I had a fish. I think he might have came off. Yep. So we end up jumping a bear about halfway to the bait and got to see him run off through the timber and like, sweet.
Yeah.
Got to see a bear. Totally worth the price of admission for the trip.
Yeah.
All right, now let's pack some bait. So we walked back up to the truck, went, and I was bent over and had my pack
getting our packs ready.
Was putting a feed sack in it and getting it all lashed down and tight. And I can't remember exactly how you worded it, but it didn't even process in my mind. You said something to the effect of, hey, there's that bear.
Yeah.
Not being used to being in bear country or being around bears. Like, it didn't even process. It kind of like slapped me like, oh, bears, yeah, bears.
Yeah.
Turn around, there's a bear about 20 yards from us just
coming
staring
up
at
that
us.
Same trail we just came up. I mean, he knew we were there. He was following us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not exactly what I was expecting, but cool to actually get to see him up close. It was kind of just a black
of
flash the first time.
Yeah.
So we started watching him, and he kind of circled the truck, and we were talking to him. He didn't care we were there.
No. Came within sub 15 yards.
Yeah.
Just sat down, licking himself, scratching, chilling, laying down.
And so we decided that we probably better get him ran off a little bit, and he mock charged us a little bit.
Yeah, he bluffed. He gave us a little bluff charge.
Colby, I think you might have a fish. You were either bumping bottom. You could have been bumping bottom. We're only about 5 foot now.
Oh, okay.
Could have been bottom. But yeah, he kind of gave us a wolf and 3 or 4 kind of charge steps at us, checking us out.
Yeah,
that's a fish.
Yeah, there we go.
There he is.
All right, live action. Oh, he's a jumper.
It's a beautiful day on the river. I know that much.
Feels good out here. Where is he at?
We did end up getting that bear ran off, sorta. We got him, I don't know, 70, 80 yards from the truck, but he just wasn't running off out of the country before it was all said and done.
Yeah, I went back and watched the video.
Is that a largemouth? Well, we don't catch a whole lot of those here. Don't really target them anyways. I'm sure they're in here. Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, I got to document this.
Nice little pound and a half or so largemouth, maybe. I don't know. We can put a scale on him if we wanted to. Or we can call him whatever we want.
Out here ripping lips. I barely hooked him.
Yeah.
Oh, I got him on the second one. Well, that'll work. How about that? And I was like, he's going to break into my truck. I just know it. Yeah. No, so that bear was just sitting there and like chilling, and it's odd that he's acting this way around us at the truck. Around a bait site, that kind of stuff will happen, because they associate you with like
yumminess.
You're bringing them their buffet. You're just coming and you're not a bad thing in the forest at that point in time. Like around a bait site, like that behavior isn't as alarming as, he actually came up here, followed us to the truck, and he's just going to chill here until we leave, and then he's probably going to break into my truck, and so we have to run him off. I went back and watched the video, and I don't know if he bluff charged me once, because I don't see it on the footage, but I say, don't you bluff charge me, and then he comes at me like 2 yards or so, just to see if I would
give ground.
Yeah, it'd be sketchy. I mean, like if I'd be a little timid. And so it's like, nope. Ain't what happened. I went ahead and decided to grab the bear spray just in case. I mean, The thing is typically black bears are real scaredy creatures. Like, they're not really going to do anything crazy around people. They're more scared of you than you are of them.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, that's how it goes. Well, it's not how it went this time. He was pressing us and seeing if we would give in, and I imagine he gets beat up quite a bit.
I guess we probably ought to detail what size we think the bear was.
I mean, he was over
every
100.
bit of 500 pounds.
He's over 100, less than 200. He was probably, I don't know, I mean, I would say like 130 or something. He wasn't huge, but
big enough to make you nervous that they're sitting there at 12, 13 yards.
I mean, a lot of guys would be happy with killing a bear like that in some areas, you know, and on public land, if I got an opportunity at a bear like that.
This is me raising my hand.
Yeah.
One of those guys right here.
Man, on public land, that would be a bear that I would be grateful for and happy for, you know. But over bait, the reason that you bait is not to make it easy. The reason you bait is you want to go after an older age class animal, you know, especially in like this heavy timber and stuff. You're going in and you're intentionally targeting a larger animal.
Have a chance to be more selective.
Yeah.
Better management tool.
Yeah, and you just want to get those older ones out and let the young ones do their thing and grow up. And so, plus you get more meat, you get more fat. It's just better all around.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why do you kill a big buck? Because he's got more meat.
I mean,
he covers more wall.
They're cool. They're cool. I don't feel like there's anything wrong with admitting that, you know what, it is cool to kill a big buck.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is a lot more meat on one.
Yeah. We chase it off, and what I do is I pick up a rock and pitch it and see how he responds. He jumps back, it startles him a little bit, and then I go to press him. He probably would have just gone off. He would have let me get a lot closer before he would have backed off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he would have ever gotten after us, but there's always a chance. Once you think you have them figured out, they do something crazy. We go down, and before we leave, I'm like, he's going to break into my truck. And so I lock the doors, and typically I leave the windows down, the back of the truck's open, and I'm removing everything that will break my momentum going back and forth.
Has that changed your personal practice?
I don't know, probably not. Once I get a few away from that experience, I'm doing it now, and that bear actually was back, but he was down at the bait this time. We had to push him off a couple times, I think 3 times. But we went down with the first round of baiting, came back up, and my bed cap had been brute forced open, and I'd locked the driver's side and just closed and then just rotated the other side and just latched it. Well, that bear had scratched once around the side that I had not locked, the passenger side. He had opened it, just barely a scratch. Well, then he scratched all around the driver's side latch that was locked and couldn't get it open. And then he just scratched along the side, you know, the bottom of it, and eventually was able to get his claw in and rip it up. And then there was a scratch around the driver's side door handle. Well, then you spot him out there in the woods, and he took off like there was a 50-pound bag of dog food missing. We're like, he's not getting away with that, so take off after him and get the dog food back. It was a pretty wild day. It was one of the wildest days of baiting, or the wildest day of baiting I've ever had. Just a bear like at the truck.
I just know that I went from never seeing a bear to being up close and personal one real quick and in a hurry.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we ended up, what did we pack down, about 450 or so pounds of bait?
A piece.
Man, it was a workout.
It was a lot. I don't know how many trips we made, but it was a lot.
Trucker at 103 degrees whenever we got back to it, and that was even in the shade under the canopy.
And then every time you come back, you got to like wrangle the keys, you unlock everything, get it all on, then you got to lock it back. It really killed our time. Like, we had it planned out to where we were going to be able to do a lot that day.
Yeah.
And then just that one thing happened, and well, that on top of the heat, it was just hard. This last time I went, it was like 84. It was a lot better.
Sounds great.
Yeah. I wasn't dead at the end. But it was a cool time. And then this last time I had to push him off several times of the bait. He didn't want to leave. You know, he wasn't waiting for us to go back and forth. Was he coming back
every trip?
Yeah. After the third trip, he eventually went down a hill and out of sight and stayed gone. So,
are you part of the group that named your critters that you're hunting and get to know?
I don't feel like I'm that creative.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell them apart too. A lot of times, like they'd have
that
to
one
have
be
some
easy to name.
defining.
He's
Yeah.
the one that's always at the bait pile when you show up.
Yeah. I'm calling him Smokey because he's a bandit.
Yeah.
Every time we come across like a little opening, am I gonna see something back in there in the shade?
Maybe. I wish we had bears up here. Get an occasional sighting in the area.
Yeah.
Well, about once a year or so, but
Yeah.
nothing as far as.
I mean, a deer, a
anything's gonna be
turkey,
around.
like something. It's bound to happen.
Yeah. So you're pretty well prepped up for what's looking like hopefully a pretty good bear season for you.
Yeah. I got some good ones. Got
Yeah.
some good ones on cam. It's crazy. They're eating me out of house and home. I didn't expect this bait site to light up just as heavy as it did. I thought, oh, I'll have some bears on there, but I mean, they're just absolutely hammering it. I mean, really, like it's becoming a really expensive thing this time. I was talking to my wife and I was like, next year I'm just going to wait until like the beginning of September if they keep it the same way. And I'll do like a 13-day bait instead of, I did a full month. As soon as they said we could start baiting, I was like chomping at the bit. I was getting out there.
Get it out there.
Yeah. The thing is you just don't want it to bait site to go dry once you have bears coming to it. And there's a lot of guys that run hounds off of baits. They'll have a bait site not with the intention of hunting that bait site, but they'll have a bait site set up. They'll go in, they'll check for, maybe have a cam on it, a trail camera, but they'll go in and they'll look for larger bear tracks. And so that way that they can go out there and target the specific animal that they want to pursue. And so they put the hounds on that track, go after a specific bear. And so that's something that some guys are really successful in doing.
So if you're lucky enough to get a bear this fall, what are your plans for the hide? I know you plan to pretty well utilize just about every part of it, but anything special about the hide you're wanting to do with it, just out of curiosity?
I'm probably just going to do, John Hayes is a taxidermist up in Montana that advertises with us in the magazine. He's just world class. But he does a flat-faced bear rug that just looks awesome.
Flat-faced.
Yeah, he just folds it over in a way where you can still see the character in the face.
I got you.
But it's just flat. It doesn't have that mold inside of it.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, so you can hang it on a wall, drape it over something, or put it on the floor.
Oh, cool. That's one thing that's always kind of been ironic to me is a lot of the people that push for the anti-fur, they claim to be trying to help the environment, typically. But they're wanting to replace fur with mostly plastic synthetics that if you throw in the ditch will never
degrade
and will be there in 100 years.
Never decompose.
They're wanting to replace a completely natural, environmentally friendly product.
It did a lot of harm because if you think about it from an ecological perspective, now we're overrun with small predators.
The mesopredators.
Yeah. And so now we're overrun with coons, possums. Which possums I don't think were ever part of the real fur trade, but I mean, like, you really need to take out some coons, man. Like, they hurt turkey populations bad.
Turkey, quail.
Everything's supposed to be in balance, and we can't truly have. Nature's not going to balance itself anymore. Not since we have so much urban sprawl. There's not really a lot of unfragmented wilderness.
A lot of people, I feel like, want to think that man should stay out of monitoring wildlife because, well, that's not a natural system. But I mean, if you look at the archaeological record, man has been here on this continent for as long as white-tailed deer have been.
Yeah,
like we are part of.
Yeah, the cool thing is they keep learning more and more about history. It's like we don't even know the depth of our connection to this place as a species. There's a new theory coming out every day. Yeah. It seems like, and so they don't really know. I mean, even like all the speculations over like the Egyptian pyramids and like all these huge land features that are older than old. The more that they find out and the more that they find, they just realize they don't know anything. If you just look at the architecture of life, like pretty much life comes from death. All life is sustained by death, whether it's death of vegetation, death of an animal. Like life is designed to go on, but it's through the death of other things or the consumption of other things. I mean, if you just look at the architecture of that as a principle, it's like we're designed to live off of dead things.
I've got another buddy of mine that I sold a pup to. We were talking the other day about like Adam was the first conservationist.
Yeah.
He put a lesson together with that being the premise of it. It was pretty good whenever we had a chat about it the other night.
Sweet. Man, I just love these dramatic drop-offs.
Yeah,
they're so cool.
It's a really beautiful part of the river that we're lucky enough to live on. We're trolling along How tall do you think that bluff is, Colby?
40 feet.
At least, I think. Big white and gray rock bluff. If you count what's underwater, it's probably 65.
Yeah. Man, it's cool though. I think that's the thing I love about hunting and fishing is you get into spots where you would never experience this otherwise. You know, I'm not motivated by going and just doing fun things on the water here and there. I just, I want to be able to take something out, take something back home.
Not much of a bird watcher as much as a bird eater.
Yeah, well, I like the utility of things, and so like even buying Christmas presents, I've always been practical. Like I want to buy something that you'll actually use, and I feel like I'm the same way when I go do stuff outdoors. It's like, well, I want to go after something that's gonna like be practical for a longer period of time. And so, what's better than big game?
I do quite a bit of wild mushroom picking.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty big on that.
Man, we were in bear camp last year, and I had killed my bear, and one of the guides was talking about how good bear heart is, and so we had been foraging morels all week. We were there at the perfect time for morels. He wasn't expecting it, and so we would be filling up, Coke can boxes and stuff, just filling them up with morels. He cooked bear heart with morel mushrooms. And it was one of the best things I've ever put in my mouth. Like, it was just so good.
Man, that sounds delicious. I have a lot of people ask me, like, oh, well, when do you go mushroom hunting? I'm like, oh, it's really more of a bycatch for me. Usually I'm out walking a pup or something and stumble on a mushroom. Or I'd be out squirrel or coon hunting and find a mushroom. Oh, man, I just need a chanterelle or in the woods or chick in the woods.
Well, I haven't had experience with the other mushrooms. Like, my entrance was morels up in Canada, but it was some good stuff.
I like the ones that are bright colored.
Oh yeah.
I like the ones that are bright orange, jump out at you.
Yeah, you can spot them.
Yeah.
I couldn't find the morels.
Look like a little flag sitting over there.
Man, I couldn't find them. He was finding them left and right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll stumble on some turkey hunting or something every once in a while, but I don't really go out just looking for morels. I never turn one down if I'm around a fish camp or something and somebody walks up with a handful. We'll fry them right up.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there anywhere that you can run turkeys with dogs anymore? I know back in the day they did it a lot.
I want to say they're somewhere out Pennsylvania, maybe.
Pennsylvania. That'd be a fun experience.
I want to say a lot of them use like Brittany's.
Oh, really?
But what they try to do is from my understanding of it, I don't know that much about it, but they basically will try to find a flock of turkeys and they'll go try to flush it with a bird dog.
Oh, gotcha.
And once they get the birds all separated and broke up from their flock, they'll basically run right up in the middle of it, sit down, have their dog sit next to them, and
call them back.
Call back to locate to try to be part of the flock that's coming back together is their strategy.
Yeah.
I think that's more of a fall tactic.
Man, that would be fun.
Yeah.
If it was legal.
Right. I hardly ever see that many turkeys anyway, so.
Yeah.
They're definitely down.
That's another thing. Entirely.
There's a few around, but I'm really a late life onset turkey hunter, which we didn't really have turkeys in this area. I don't think I was probably 18 or 19 years old before I saw my first wild turkey.
Yeah, man, the first turkey I killed. So I mean, like, we didn't hunt much because there just wasn't many turkeys. I was watching Saturday morning cartoons, and all of a sudden my dad busts in. He's like, "Get your camo, get your gun." I'm like, let's go. And so about a mile from the house, a lone Tom crossed the road. My dad saw it, and instead of going after it himself, he came and got me. And so I went from watching Bugs Bunny to turkey hunting in like 5 minutes.
That sounds like it worked out anyways.
Yeah.
Just call him back in?
Man, we just snuck out. We walked into the woods probably 30 yards or 40 yards where we were far enough from the road. Started calling, and he worked in. I mean, must have just gotten to where he just couldn't see us. Because, I mean, like, he was right on us once we started calling. So it was a pretty awesome experience. I still remember, like, how it resonated in my chest whenever he would gobble. Yeah, it's always going to be a special moment in nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Going over a hump right here, I was hoping we might pick something else up on the rods. I'd like to take this little point in time to really give you a big thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be sitting here in a boat recording a podcast, which, of course, I wouldn't be sitting in a boat right now recording a podcast if it wasn't for you. But just all the help you've helped me with between picking out gear and kind of used you as a sounding board on just about everything to do with this so far.
And they don't call me the Bear Tech for nothing.
I really appreciate the help, man.
You're welcome.
So you started when we were on our bear baiting trip. You started telling me that story about your lynx hunt.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna have to make you finish that for me.
Man, that was a great experience. I went on a lynx hunt up in British Columbia with Buddy Woodbury from DU. Man, it was just great. It was around the time that there was all that flooding in BC, so I think we were originally it wasn't going to be like that terrible of a drive, but then it ended up being a 20-plus hour one-way drive just because we had to go cross the border in a different spot, and it was during the heat of COVID, so that was fun. It was not long after they started letting people cross the border, but you had to like give all this documentation. I think you're hung.
I think you're right.
Oh.
Yep, both hung.
Nope, I got a fish. I think it was jerking.
I'm hung. You got a fish.
Yeah, I got a fish.
I'm going to start the big motor and back up to mine. I can't lose 3 shad wraps a day. Go broke.
Boy, this thing feels... Oh, that's a drum.
Gasper goo.
It's a what?
Gasper goo.
What's that?
That's a drum.
Okay, I was right.
Drum. That's a pretty good drum, though.
Yeah, boy, he's fighting. I don't know the best way to grab a drum.
I just
when it's hooked like...
swing him in the boat. That line ought to hold him.
You ever cut one of these open?
I haven't. I know they got a stone in their head, but I have never extracted it from them.
Yeah, they got 2 white ones. Pretty cool. My dad used to do it when we were kids. It's the first time I've ever caught one on a rod and reel.
We catch them bycatch pretty regular between throwing jigs for crappie and white bass, and don't catch them trolling very often. There's a set of pliers right there next to you if you need them.
Yeah, I think I will. Boy, he wasn't going anywhere. He's about swallowed this thing.
There we go, got mine back.
Ooh. Let's see. Do you have any narrower pliers?
Yeah, I got another pair right here.
Yeah. I'm doing surgery here.
You gonna get him freed?
Yeah, there it goes. The precision of a surgeon.
Not even bleeding or nothing. I'm impressed.
Ow. That hurt.
Get you?
Yeah. Come on. All right. Oh. He's drummy. Yeah. Look at that sucker. I wonder if that's where I got the term.
Yeah, they'll call them Gasper goos.
Yeah, we just always called them drums. Well,
they're a nice white flaky meat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We've never eaten one.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm messing with them today. I'd be up for trying one sometime, though.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get you back over here and do some bow fishing
sometime. I want to bow fish so bad. It's not the time, but...
You should have jumped in my boat with me whenever you're up here this spring fishing with my brother, because we were on the buffalo.
Oh, man. Buffalo ribs are thick. So good.
They were thick, which a lot of it's just hitting the water clarity is a big thing.
Oh, really? When it's just clear?
Hard to shoot them when you can't see them.
Yeah. But you guys just do it in the day. You don't ever go at night.
Yeah, which I plan on building a set of lights for this boat. 2 boats ago, I had full light set.
Yeah.
We used to go a lot. That was a little bit pre-children.
Yeah. All right, so we're heading up British Columbia, and we're way north British Columbia. It's like FedEx and UPS won't even like deliver up there. And so I got selected for a random draw to do a COVID test after I crossed the border, and that was a whole to do. You had to like do a video chat with some official, and they watch you do it, they watch you seal it, and then FedEx is supposed to come and pick it up, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, FedEx won't come.
Yeah. And so the outfitter, he was like, well, they said just put it on the porch, so just put it on the porch. He's like, they're not going to come pick it up, but we'll do what they say. And so we did our test and made it out to the outfitter, put it on the porch, and I mean, it would have frozen. I mean, it was so cold. They had a lot less snowfall than they're used to, and so the snowfall was a lot less. They hadn't had snow in a while. They hadn't had any fresh powder. Finding lynx tracks was really difficult, you know, and the ones that we did find, you know, they were really old, so we really needed some fresh powder. So we still hunted. We had snow machines, and we tried to route them the first day, and it was just too rough, and so we changed our tactics. We would just go cast some hounds out. You know, we weren't really having any luck, and the thing that we learned, there's a lot of stuff we learned about lynx. For one, they just don't have much. They don't leave much scent. So like a lion just stinks. Bobcat has some scent too. Like compared to a lynx, it stinks too. But a lynx just doesn't leave much of a scent profile behind for the hounds to pick up on. So you got to have a dog with a good nose to track them even in the snow. The other thing that was difficult on this hunt is we had wet and dry conditions. So you could go from wet in the open to into some dry underneath like just thick vegetation, and it would really throw them off. Like the dogs would want to come back the other way because the scent smelled fresher on the snow than it did out there on the dry. So there was a lot of things to overcome. The other thing is we learned that lynx go out there and they make 100 different. I mean, they run in circles,
like
tight circles, and it's pretty wild to see the tracks that a lynx will make. Like they'll make big circles, they'll make like little circles inside of the big circles, and typically a lynx race is at least an hour from jump. And the outfitter even said that those lynx will go out there, they will.
There's a bunch of fish on the graph. It wouldn't surprise me if you caught one.
Oh, lost it. So the other thing about lynx is there's a lot of blowdowns up there, and those lynx will go run through a blowdown. They'll go sit on a perch, and then they'll watch the dogs chasing them. Because those hounds are watching their tracks. When the hounds get too close for comfort, they'll take off again. But they'll take a break, sit up on a perch, and just watch the hounds working through the blowdown. It's really interesting critters. Had some drama here and there. We had a brake line pop on top of the mountain. One of the links of chain caught it and just popped it off. We had issues with like keys getting locked in a truck, and what was the other thing? Snowmobile overheating, breaking down, just like things. And so it was day 4, and we hadn't had any success getting on a cat yet. The other thing was there's a lot of wolves in the area. So we were
it's tough on dogs.
Yeah, we were real nervous about the wolves, and so when we saw a track, we would go to the closest roads we could find and see like if they went in, if they went out of a certain patch. So we had to be real careful with the wolf situation. But day 4, all of a sudden we're driving, and Buddy looks out. He's like, "Man, that's a good cat." And the outfitter was in the passenger seat, and he's like, "Nah, that's a rabbit." Buddy's like, "I'm telling you, right here is a cat track." And so the outfitter got out, walked around, looked. He's like, "Boy, that's a good cat." And so we put the dogs out, and they hit the track, and then they start running parallel to the road. So the chase is going the opposite way, like they're tracking the opposite way of where the truck's pointing. So Buddy drives down to go down and turn the truck around. By the time he gets back, I'm like, their bark changed. And he's like, so they were jumped. I mean, that fast, just jumped. They had that cat treed within 5 minutes of us turning it out. Like, it was the fastest run that outfitter's ever seen. 5 minutes. Like, they were treed. And we'd had several slick trees, and so we were like, man, I hope it's not another slick tree.
Wait, what did they think was happening on the slicks? The cat was going up the tree, the dogs were treeing on it, but the cat was like climbing out and jumping out before the dogs got there?
They're just not sure.
Yeah.
We also think that maybe some of the dogs were getting bored because no cat.
I've seen them do that before.
So, but we drove as close as we could and then walked out there, and I mean, it was a great big one. We were super pumped because it had been 4 days of hard hunting, a lot of turnouts, and nothing to show for it. We had a ghost cat. We call it a ghost cat. Like, it was, the hounds were on it, and it came right behind where the truck was. There was a paw print in the road, in the middle of the road, and then nothing. Like, we looked everywhere and couldn't pick up the next track. Just disappeared. We've had a lot of highs and lows. So it's one of those things that's like, man, I feel like hope was hard to come by at that point in time. We got fresh snow the third night, so we were hoping to be in the chips. Anyways, we go out there, big cat in the tree, big male Tom. And Buddy's like, if you don't shoot that cat, I'm going to shoot it. And the outfitter was like, if you don't, neither one of you shoot that cat, I'm taking that cat. Because it was just a toad, man. Like, it's huge. And so shot it down, and I mean, just a huge cat, man. Huge lynx. He said the outfitter told me later that he is probably one of the top 5 lynx they had ever taken, and he's been outfitting and guiding mostly his whole life. His dad had the outfit beforehand, and I think he had it for like 30 something years.
Yeah.
Man, just so cool. It was just so cool. It was on some tribal land up there, and yeah, such a great experience. That's one of the things that, like we were talking about, guard the gate. I want to have these different experiences so I understand them, and I feel more connected to lynx now. Like I would have never had any connection to lynx, and nothing makes sense, but I appreciate them so much now. Like I have a connection to them. I just carry them in a different way, you know. And I think that's a thing that we have to carry, is just knowing that just because we might not be for something or not, people need the right to go after the stuff that they want to pursue because they have a connection to it that you don't. You know, they have a lot of history, a lot of cultural connections to them that you won't. And so before, I would have never thought, oh, I really want to make sure that lynx hunting is a thing.
It's protected.
Yeah. I remember in elementary school, probably the 3rd or 4th grade, I remember I had this deck of cards that was animals on the endangered species list, and one of them was lynx. You know, and I was like, I'm hunting this thing, and I feel kind of bad for doing it, but they got lynx everywhere up there. You know, I just saved a bunch of rabbits. And the lynx looks huge in the photos. Like people will be like, man, was that like 80 pounds or like 60 pounds or whatever?
Showed me its height the other day. I'd have guessed it more than what you said it was.
Yeah, 27 pounds. You know, and like they start a lynx that's like 14 pounds. Like that's kind of, you know, that 13, 14 pound range is when they start wanting to take a lynx. And a 20-pound lynx is a great lynx. A 27-pound lynx is a once-in-a-lifetime monster.
They got Boone Crockett Club for lynx.
I'm not sure.
Y'all check into that.
I don't know. No, it was a once-in-a-lifetime type of hunt. And, you know, the cool thing is that outfitter up there, he lets you bring your own hounds, too. So we weren't running his hounds. We were running Buddy's dogs. And there was another buddy named James up there. We ran his dogs. And we ended up getting 2 lynx overall. But, man, just the fact that I did it the first time and got such a huge once-in-a-lifetime lynx, it really produces some humility in you. Like, I didn't earn this. I mean, I earned it as far as I went on the experience and put myself out there, but it wasn't my dogs. You know, I didn't put in the work and the training and stuff. I benefited from someone else's work. And I think that's one of the things, too, like even when I think about hunting with outfitters and all of this, everyone is putting something into that. Like you're paying them with something that you're good at, that you put your time into, to have an experience of something. You're sharing the experience of like what they're good at and what they put their time into. And so a lot of people would see like hunting with an outfitter as being like lazy or whatever. It's like you put something in to get this. You're trading the things that you're good at. And I think that's a healthy way to view it. Everyone is giving something. Like nothing inside this life is free. You know, maybe like you were born into money, and it's like, well, you kind of earn it because you got to put up with the people that money came from. It's like nothing is free. Everybody's got to deal with stuff. I think that's a good way to view it. You can't be ambitious about how other people's lives are either. You know, you have to be grateful for the way that your life is. I think a lot of times that's what a lot of negative comments come from too, is guys are just kind of like wishing they could do things that way, but you only like got that thing because of blah 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 blah. And it's like, well, maybe you know, but it's still cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's benefits to everything. You have to decide what you want your limitations to be and how you want to pursue them. And I don't think there's any type of hunting that takes more work than running hounds. It's such it has to be a lifestyle. And I think that you really have to admire the people that are willing to dedicate their lives to something that's so special, you know. Especially these guys that are like, they come in and they have 30 dogs, you know, because they're trying to get a specific thing out of their line and breed for a particular thing. And not that you can't get those same attributes inside of like crossbred dog or one-off dogs or mutts or whatever. It's just like to get such consistency. You're trying to breed a line that has a lot of consistency. Not that every dog's going to make it or give you the attributes you want, but it's going to be more
Working towards your goal.
consistent. Yeah, more consistent. It takes a lot of knowledge that's been passed down through generations to a lot of these families, and there's a lot of legacy tied into them. And I think it's just so cool to see those things continue on.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a culture that is easily lost, and there's so much of it's an expensive buy-in. You know, and if you don't have people to mentor you whenever you start out and whenever you're doing these things, it can be really difficult to build up your pack and to
there's a big learning curve.
learn how to do it. Yeah, and so I think that aspect of like being willing to mentor people is important too, and to bring them alongside and share the things that you're good at. The great thing about hound hunting is you can take a bunch of people. You know, I really think that hound hunting has the ability to be a greater bridge inside of the gap between a hunter and a non-hunter, because you can take them, they can experience the hounds, and they can see something up in a tree. You know, they can see you let it go. You know,
it's the only form of catch and release hunting.
Yeah, I really think that there's a lot that be a big part of guarding the gate, like one of the biggest, because you can touch a lot more people and not be. If you're spot and stock hunting, it's hard, and they might mess up a lot of your stuff. You know, in hound hunting, it's, you know, you go ahead, you get the dogs working, you got your Garmin, you're tracking it in on it. You can also have them around and they can experience it in their way. You know, everybody can get something out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
But historically, hound guys are really tight-knit groups and don't want to let other people.
It can be hard to get in with some people.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I think you have to be kind to everyone that you meet. Like, houndsmen can't afford to have a off day inside of how they respond to people or act around people. You really have to be kind to everyone, and like, you're representing a huge group, and you can't afford to have an off day emotionally.
Well, Kolby, I want to thank you again for coming on today. Oh, did I have a bite?
Yeah. Well, you're welcome, man.
But yeah, I want to thank you again
Thanks for having me.
For coming on and making the trip up here to hang out.
Yeah. I'm baiting again tomorrow if you want to go.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a little bit cooler at least.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Take care now and keep wearing out that boot leather.